Hello, good day. Hello, Anil.
Hello.
Nice to have you back. And just to recap a bit, last time we touched on um, our own mind affecting our health, our emotions, our thoughts, and how the happiness hormone or the happiness feeling and attitude and truth inside can help us feel, heal better and feel healthier and be healthier. And we touched on ourselves as being energy and connecting to that so that we can remain our authentic selves and without effort can be peaceful, loving, and happy with that realization that I'm energy and I am complete within myself and not to have any wants or expectations which lead us to become sad again. And now we are stepping on to the physical side. And I know and I've heard and that you have healed and helped a lot of people, even with cancer and with health issues. And so I just want you to give us some tips on diet and nutrition. How do we without taking too much supplements, or rather even suggest what sort of supplements we need as we step into our 50s. So, and now closer to 60. So, Anil, please do help us in guiding us in our health, in our daily nutrition and supplements. Thank you.
Yes, Amarjit. Okay, so you said physical, but for me, the physical and non-physical are connected because food, physical, we are going to have it twice or thrice a day, but the food coming in from our thoughts is 24/7. So that we can never leave aside, presuming we have taking care of that. So the physical food, which we can touch and, we need it also, the nutrients for the functioning of all the cells, all the body functions. If you go onto the net, there may be some 10,000 different recipes or not recipes, I meant to say like different systems of modalities of nutrition. And it could be that I am selling my story. So let me just connect it to nature. So one is inner and the outer. Always let's connect to nature. Let's follow nature. So everything is seasonal. We see in nature. The animals eat accordingly. In summer we have different foods. In winter we have different foods. So let us say that let us eat seasonal. Let us eat local, because even plants, what we are having, I am more of a vegetarian. So that also has energy. So the moment we are plucking it, the vitamin and nutrients what are present in that, they have to start taking care of the product itself. So that they start losing the value. So the longer it's kept and then we are having it, the lesser nutrients we get, because the nutrients get depleted by the product itself taking, so it doesn't go rancid or doesn't go, you cut an apple, it turns brown, oxidation. So local, seasonal, and our body needs carbohydrates for energy, fat for energy, and maybe various other purposes also, and proteins. And these are in nature found abundant and in the appropriate ratio from plants and vegetables. And all cultures, you'll see that when you study any cultures, regular staple dishes or meals, they will somehow have comprise of carbs, protein, and fats. All three are needed. And these things have micronutrients, vitamins and minerals. They come from them only. Our body also makes them. So if we are healthy, if our gut, our immune system is 70% in the gut. So we were talking earlier about mental health. Now, nervous system is connected to immune system. So immune system is mainly in the gut. So mental health and gut are very closely connected. So if we just can make sure that we are getting abundant leafy vegetables, they are full of minerals, phytonutrients, they have their own role to play. They have lots of fiber, which is very important for the gut microbiome, which is 10 times more than our cells. So our cells have genes. Genes are instructions for how to respond to the external impetus, in external influence, which could be thoughts, which could be toxins or the air I'm breathing. So the genes respond to that, and so do the genes of the microbiome also respond to that. So the genes of microbiome is 10 times more in my body than my genes. And they also correspond to each other. And their diet is fiber. So if I'm not having enough vegetables which have fiber, so then I'm not keeping my gut healthy. And they are symbiotic. They do a lot of work for us. They also produce vitamins. They train my immune system. So it's all, again, nature, it's all there. What I'm saying is nothing new. It existed like that. And fats have their own role to play. So any vegetable, any plant will have all three of them. In nature, we just can't go and pluck something which is 100% fat. If it's 100% fat, which is oil, that is man-made. But coconut will have oil in it. Even a spinach leaf will have oil in it, and protein in it, and carbohydrate in it. Some things are more carbohydrates, some things are more protein. So when it's balanced, the word is balanced. So we are getting abundant everything. And when we are eating, if we are eating not with gratitude in a relaxed mode or knowing what I'm eating, the food could be the best, most expensive. It's not going to give me proper results because my digestive enzymes perhaps may not be abundantly present because I have switched on my protective mode from my brain of some fear or some worry. So it won't work. So I will have gas and acidity if I'm living like that constantly. So it is again eating and chewing. That's one task which nature has given us, and we don't do that. Rest is automatic. Rest is automatic. But this is in our hands. We don't want to do that also. We just gulp. So one can chew, one can eat abundant of these foods in a relaxed manner, and 3 hours before bedtime, so that when we go to bed, our immune system, the system which disposes of waste, all that starts and goes into action nighttime. So that can be done. My sugar can be balanced and I can be relaxed more for that to happen. Body is not sleeping, it's working every moment, it's helping us. So if we just follow these basic natural things, you can for yourself see there'll be a change in health. Things are simple, but we can make it very complex. So today's topic is simple, but if one wants to know that in a leaf or some plant, how many percent of protein is there or carbohydrate is there, yeah, the registered nutritionist or we are aware of that, but perhaps we don't need it also to know all that. But
So
the knowledge is there.
From what you've spoken, I'm picking up that something very simple, but very strongly I'm picking up is conscious eating. Conscious of the fact that whatever you're eating is natural and from nature direct as much as possible, number one. And conscious eating as in your attention towards your food, not on the TV or on the phone or your mind going here, there, and absent-mindedly just eating. So consciously. So nature, conscious, and chew. I chew very little. So I think we need to chew some more. And you're right, and of course the 3 hours before going to bed to stop. These are very simple and deep and good points.
And,
But I just wanted to ask you when you
so I'm
were
just
telling.
stopping. I'm very sorry, so that I'll forget. Sorry.
Yeah.
And what is sustainable?
Mm.
As a coach, I might give some fancy, list of very exoteric foods and all that, but maybe the other person can't buy. So it's not necessary. And I could give an extensive list of preparations and fancy recipes. The person who has to take care of themselves may be a housewife with young kids and maybe parents and has no time to do that. She won't do it. She can't do it. So all that also has to be taken into account. That would create more stress for her. The moment
True.
stress comes, the body goes into a different mechanism. So all this goes for a waste. So everything is interconnected. Simple.
And
Yeah.
when you were talking about, like I was listening to about like the vegetables and high fiber and all. What is the? I mean, I didn't. What about protein? Where in nature can we get direct protein from? And how important is protein?
Protein is one of the macronutrients, and fiber is also a kind of macronutrient, which is essential for our body.
Mhm.
And so let's take any vegetable. Let's say potato. So potato will have more carbohydrates, whole, complex. So that is okay. So when we are talking about food, I'm talking about whole, nature, whole. The moment we are cutting it, bottling it, we call it broken. It's broken, it's destroyed, damaged. But yes, with lifestyle, we may be needing it. We just can't. Everyone just can't go to buy every day. So that's also understood. Balance, using the word balance. But the idea is as much as fresh, whole, and we took the example of a potato. So it's having carbohydrate. It will also have protein. It will also have fats a little bit. It will also have fiber. So everything we are getting, but all they play different roles. So carbohydrates are more for energy production and fats for energy, plus for insulation of our nerves. And if we didn't have the proper fat in the proper place, I would not be sitting so long. I would be, my bones would be paining and it's also the structure in the cells, cholesterol, fat. So everything has a role. Simple, nature. Otherwise, nature won't make it. Simple. And proteins are also, they have their own role. But what do you feel at the moment protein is known for?
Muscle building. That's what I hear.
So,
That
so as I said, everyone has their own story to sell. So I could be selling my story, but let me just connect myself to nature again. So someone would be wanting to do that, sell that, and and there's so much of information available, and we all are a bit interested about our external. So we would go in for that story, which is there. But you'll be surprised you ask this question. Protein has around 8 or 9 roles to play in the body, and they are critical roles. And I can never eat a molecule of protein because I am made of protein. So when I have protein, and when the digestive enzyme of protein is released, I will digest myself. So this all nature, this all exists. The protein is only broken and digested mainly inside the stomach. Inside the stomach is closed with that enzyme and acid. And then it's broken down into small parts of the protein, which are called amino acids, around 20 of them. Now they will enter my body, and my genetic profile, my genes have the codes to pick up those amino acids and decide which protein to make, which is needed for the body at that time. That is wisdom. We don't know who's controlling that, how it's happening. No one knows. No one will ever know that wisdom. And in every cell, there are trillions of cells. at this very moment, hundred thousands of proteins are being made. So what do proteins do? The body will decide what is urgent. Let us say, example, they are neuropeptides. My hormones in my brain, or which make me feel happy, sad, they are made from proteins. They're essential. If I lack any of them, I might go depressed. So then come down immunity, the immunoglobulins, the antibodies, we all know about that. They fight viruses and bacteria. They are proteins. So when I'm sick, my genetic profile will pick up the amino acid pool in the body, and they will convert it to the antibody to kill that virus. I may have taken it for a different reason, but no, the body decides. So immunity, that's all critical. Then they are transport molecules, they transport cholesterol, which is very important for the body. High density lipoprotein cholesterol. So it's the protein there's no protein, it will not transport it. It will not go to the cells. Without oxygen, we can't breathe. Maybe we last in this program for another few seconds. So hemoglobin, everyone knows, transports oxygen to all the cells. It is a protein. So what more? So storage. So sometimes we have extra iron. So it needs to be stored in the body, which is called ferritin. That is a protein. We hear so much about vitamin C. It is antioxidant, but we have something called in the body known as master antioxidant, glutathione. It is the master antioxidant in every cell to protect it, and it's the master detoxifier. That is just a protein. So, and then comes collagen, which is also a kind of protein, which is a structure for the muscles, nails, skin, hair. So muscles are just one aspect of the protein, and protein has more critical roles to play. The protein molecule, which is made in the body, protein can't enter. Amino acids will be broken into amino acids, it will enter, and the genes will decide. Instantly it's happening on making proteins. So the proteins will also balance osmotic. We learned osmosis in school, the fluid balance inside the blood vessels and outside. So if the protein albumin drops, the balance drops, and we have that water accumulating in our legs or stomach. If someone is critically ill, it plays a very vital role. And it balances the pH, acidity, alkaline of our body, which is 7.4 in the blood. And if it exceeds slightly, it's equal to death. So what would the body do first? Without we thinking it's doing it for us. So we have to always go back to how much we think we have learned. We have just learned what already exists. We're just coming to know what exists in nature, and maybe I might have to use the word God, what he has done. So that is protein. So, but with consumerism and with marketing, social media, we get taken away just by one aspect of it and overlook the yes, we need. So when we are aging, we might be, if it's a vegetarian or a vegan person, could go low on protein. So it's good to have protein-rich foods, legumes, lentils, tofu in Thailand, or have some good quality protein. Okay, so because it's doing all these functions, but extra protein is again toxic because the amino acids, they don't last for long, just few hours. Then they have to be either stored as fat or stored as sugar again, or have to be excreted via the kidneys. So if I'm having too much, they are being metabolized and to be excreted through the kidneys, putting a pressure on the kidney. So always balance and always appreciate the wisdom of nature. And when we are in confusion about anything, there's so much on the net, always check, like this information would come, I would have learned from a biochemist who knows about the body than from a person who would only promote a gym guy would promote muscles. But a biochemist would tell us this is what protein does.
You know, you just absolutely stunned me by the benefits of protein.
I just said something which always is there, which is
Always.
I just connected to nature, not to my knowledge.
I didn't realize the multiple. I mean, everything is important for the body, and you highlighted it very beautifully. But what I wanted to ask you was, you mentioned that um, overdose or over intake of protein can be a waste or can be difficult to store. So, how do we know how much protein our body needs, and what happens to excess protein? How does it
It
affect
cannot be,
us?
amino acids cannot be stored, so it has to be decomposed of. And when it's decomposed, the byproduct is urea, ammonia, which is measured in the blood urea nitrogen. So from that, if it's high, you'll hear doctors telling you that please cut down on your protein. That's the reason. And if it's
Okay.
low, it's critical. So everything has to be balanced. That's how we can come to know, because it's very easy to check protein requirement, because it's the only molecule which has nitrogen. So they check the nitrogen intake, nitrogen excretion, and they come to know how much the body needs. And there is protein recycling inside also happening. Even if someone is not really have, let's say, less on protein, my cells, when they are damaged, when they are discarded, from that the protein is recycled again. The body doesn't waste anything.
And what is your like? Supposing some of us are vegetarian or even vegan. Like I know milk and milk products have quite a lot of protein, yogurt and all. But if someone is vegan and so the milk content and protein content is less, is it okay to take protein powders? I mean, I know they're processed, but just
Protein powder is not only in milk. There is more than milk. You would get it perhaps in spinach if you compare the nutritional profile in
do put
lentils.
that up.
So
I would recommend at the end of this video to put up your any sort of nutritional information you have.
So yes, for people when we are aging and if we are not eating our diet properly, no harm. It would be good to have some amount of protein powder for vegans. Yes.
Okay.
Because we could go a bit low, but if you're eating very consciously aware of it, you're making sure you have tofu every day, you're having, let's say, beans every day, lentils every day, greens every day, your tofu requirement, your protein requirement could be enough. But there's no harm for vegetarian vegans to have a good quality protein powder.
Tell me, I'm a little curious about another question that came to mind. The protein in the blood, is it the same as the protein that you're eating? Because sometimes, like I've measured in my blood, apparently I have enough protein, a little on the higher side. And I don't feel I eat a lot of protein, but is that different from regular eating protein, the protein in the blood and the protein
What I just said, that proteins are made of 20 building blocks, amino acids. No matter what protein you eat, it has to be broken down into those 20 amino acids. And those 20 amino acids will go into our body, and the body will make proteins again from that, different kind of proteins. In the blood, what we check is just albumin and globulin. They more do that. From the two, they are the most abundant. From that, we come to know our protein content.
And if that's high, means you're taking enough protein. And if it's low, means you need to increase your protein intake.
In the world, there is no malnutrition of protein anywhere. So it's hardly seen on the lower side. It's seen on the lower side only when we are seriously having a serious disease. Then albumin will drop.
Okay. Nice to know that. So, hearing you and you've made it a bit simple that even vegetables have protein like spinach. And so we are kind of fine by just eating everything in moderation and just eating good, healthy food. So, what about our supplements? What would you recommend as a
So spinach, I think maybe as you forgot in school time, you used to get to see that cartoons, Popeye.
Popeye?
He had good
Yeah,
strong
we got
muscle
the
from
muscle
spinach.
from spinach.
Yes.
That's right. Not from,
So
yeah.
spinach. So sorry, supplements we'll talk some other time. It's a very big
Okay.
separate field. Yeah. So I think you wanted to know something about weight also.
Yeah.
The
Is it
beginning of
connected?
the session.
Yes, weight loss. You know what? I've noticed that as we age, somehow maybe the metabolism or even the metabolic, increasing metabolism, uh, with age, we're at a point, there was a period in life it was so easy to lose weight. And now suddenly it's so difficult. And, and you fast and do all this intermittent fasting but then ultimately you go back to eating, you try to eat less, but the weight just doesn't budge. And I'm not talking about weight for the sake of a beautiful body. No, I'm talking about losing weight so that our feet and our legs and our knees don't trouble us. So for health.
So you replied yourself only. You said, so then we go back. So weight management is more, I would say, a behavioral issue than eating issue. Eating, we all know. We all know we should have so much on our plates and we should eat. We just discussed it. So that's the easy aspect. But coming to the other aspects, we could be going deep into why, when I know I should not have had this extra portion, why did I have it? Or why did I just come home and go straight to the fridge and open up and I had this I wanted to have, okay, one chocolate, ended up having 4 pieces of chocolate. Why? So when I go deep into that why, I could be medicating with those comfort foods called comfort, self-medicating. I came home, just giving example. I wanted someone, no one was there. No one wanted, no one was there, didn't know what to do. So I gobbled that in, because when I put that in, it releases, if it's high in sugar and all, it will release dopamine. The same thing I would have got if there was a friend at home or someone else at home who was there to listen to me and love me. So I medicated myself with that. And I know it's not good, but I can't control it. I'm wanting that. So it goes back to that wanting. It's no deep. And then when we are living in fear, stress. So whenever I'm in stress or fear, my body is anticipating, my immune system is anticipating some kind of attack going to come on. So it produces more sugar, even if I've not had sugar. Body can produce sugar for energy. The moment sugar is produced, insulin, a hormone, again, I forgot to tell you, very vital hormone, enzymes also proteins. So insulin is again a hormone which manages sugar, we know it. But when the sugar is not needed, it converts it into fat. So fat. So stress, pathway, fat. So people are stressed nowadays. When you go more deeper, you use the word we want to lose fat. Is it something there we don't want to lose that could reflect we don't want to lose here? I'm not wanting to lose, I'm wanting to hold on. Hold on. So maybe the body is also holding on. So all these kind of subtle things are connected.
So excess.
Maybe sometimes I've come across people, females, I remember one, she used to come for coaching, over humble. It's not also good. It's humility, but being over humble is also kind of not a normal this thing. Very humble, very fearful. Literally, they also stand like that also, but very fat. I was wondering, is the person protecting? Is at home the environment is such that is a person only under some kind of protection? Person protecting with that thing around? Because the person says, I don't eat. And we trust, okay, you don't eat. So there are many factors with weight loss. Food is the most easiest. That is, we all know about it. It's on the net, nothing to talk about. extra calories in, the extra calories out they'll be deposited somewhere. But those fat cells are inflammatory. They create stress. Then I get in that catch-22. They create stress in the body, physiological, psychological stress, and stress creates fat through insulin. So it's again behavioral. Not if you just, that's why just going to a nutritionist, I'm getting the diet, everything, but it's not helping. I need a coach. I need a coach who is there understanding me, letting me connect to my inside why. I don't know. I know nothing about the client, but I just help the client connect to themselves and know that why you are eating extra. When you know you don't want to eat extra, when you want to look slim and good. Yeah, okay.
But what about those? Are you saying that people who are thin, they don't have stresses then?
No, they'll also have stress. So our genetic profile is unique, and we will respond different way. Those tests also available, not the genetic disease test, but just to see how I'm responding to fat or sugar. So it depends on person to person. Some, yes, they are always very thin, extra thin, yes. And stress to them is not affecting through that insulin pathway. So genetically, you can come to know all these pathways now. All these tests have become very cheap. They're available in America. They're available everywhere.
So to the people who are thin, the stress is affecting in another way.
Could be in another way. So one can come to know from that. But if a person is eating with the correct proportions, not greedy, not okay, I can say from my own experience, the weight just remains stable. It becomes difficult to increase weight. Even if I want to increase few kgs, everyone tells me I'm thin, but I have no problem with my energy, anything. You just can't increase weight. It doesn't go up. It just remains in the middle of that, what you call the BMI level. It just remains on BMI 24, 25. It remains stuck over there. Again, it's nature. It's nature. How much you eat.
Urge. You don't have the urge to overeat or the desire, or you don't have, you just,
No. So the urge we just is connected to our emotional, is coming from there, the urge to eat. Because the cells know how much they want. Once the cells are happy, they will not send that signal to eat more. So that urge is coming from somewhere else. I'm sabotaging, hijacking myself, my system, because that is more powerful here. Yeah. So I think today,
we have the hunger pangs. We are supposed to pause and think: is it the cells wanting the food, or is it some emotional or something else?
Just have a glass of water, just sit down and check why. Yes, always in the beginning we started why. The why is important. Not to create more stress, but if I have to go deeper into life and understand that why has to be there. If there's no why, perhaps I'm just, drifting and carrying on. So I think we should end now.
Yeah, thank you
and
so
we can
much.
Meet again sometime.
Yes, thank you so much, Anil. And me, I for one have gained a lot. I think you've given me a lot to think about. And we tend to think, oh, let's diet and we lose weight and don't eat this and don't eat that and let's control this and let's control that. But today you shed light on a lot of things to do with our behaviors, our feelings, our emotions, and to ponder on what and why we put food in our mouth or things in our body that doesn't suit it, or that will create a result that we don't like. And so it's not about don't do this and don't do that, but consciously eating, as you said, and consciously aware of what you're putting in your mouth, how much of nature is it, and are we chewing it properly, and are we hungry, is it the time, and 3 hours before bed at least not to. So there's a lot of things you've touched on that are very simple, and yet we have overlooked it in life. I have.
Things are simple. Everything is simple. We complicated it. And we also have to sell sometimes detox and dieting and all, to be very honest. Okay, they do help, but not permanently. Because they are for 3 days, 10 days. Nothing's going to happen in 3-10 days. Shiny skin or weight 10 kgs lost, it doesn't happen. But we have to do it sometimes. It does bring the person close, and we give knowledge there also. We want to carry on. It's sustainable, lifelong. We have to do what we do.
And I look forward to more on nutrition with you.
Welcome.
And detox. These are 2 more topics we can cover.
Next time, detox. Okay.
Thank you so much, Anil.
Thank you, Amarjeet. Yeah.
Yeah. See you again.